Good afternoon. Welcome to the Queen's Curry Kitchen. You must be wondering what's on the menu today. Well, today we have a long list of things that need to be made, and we are making all these things. We are making a masoor dal tadka, we are making a tridali dal with garlic, we are making chili cauliflower, eggplant with potatoes, matar paneer, palak paneer, which is spinach with paneer, and we are making tomato rasam. So I won't be making all of these, but I will definitely do two dishes with you today. I will share the tridali dal, so we will do the tempering of this lentil, and we will be making the chili cauliflower. So without further ado, let's just get started with the chili flower. I have a hot pan, and here's my oil. Let me show you some of the prep that's actually gone into this. For this recipe, we are going to need ginger garlic minced. We're going to need some dry red chilies. We are going to need this, which is nothing but a mixture of soy sauce, sriracha sauce, water, some toasted sesame seeds. This is all that I've added. A little bit of ketchup. I've used a garlic tomato ketchup. You can just use any tomato ketchup that you have, but essentially the color of this has to be a dark brown and not a red. So there's a lot of soy sauce in there. Don't add salt because you have to be sure that it's not too salty because of the soy sauce. The way the cauliflower is prepped is that I actually cut them into florets, and then I made a batter with corn flour, rice flour, and just very little bit of regular whole flour, and then I dipped it in that batter. To the batter I added salt and pepper, and I added a little sriracha sauce, and then I deep fried these. So you can see these are actually very crunchy. Let me tap it for you and show you. You see how crunchy it is? And if you're looking to serve this as an appetizer, this is just great. You can serve it with the sauce of choice. You can serve it with a sweet chili sauce. But if you're looking to serve it as a meal, as a part of dinner, then we're going to work on the sauce that goes with it, and we will make a gravy. So we will make a brown sauce. We will do a garlic sauce. That's what we're going to do. So let me get this thing started. Put some oil in the pan, and we will start with the trinity, the Chinese trinity of chilies. And because it's chili, it's supposed to be a little hot. I don't use a lot of heat in my food, so I will be using these long peppers for heat, which is actually not that spicy, but if you like the Thai chilies, by all means go ahead and use that. Okay, to this I will also add ginger garlic paste. I'm making 2 or 3 portions that are going to be about containers that are this size, so I have to factor for all of that and make sure I have enough quantity going on. Okay, while this is happening, I'm gonna give it a quick saute, and the aroma from the ginger garlic immediately gets to work, right? So many of you keep requesting Indo-Chinese, 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 so that's what I'm focusing on today, Indo-Chinese. All right, so let it do its thing, and I'm gonna jump right to the dal tempering and show you what's going on in here. Okay, so here are my 3 lentils that I boiled sorry, in the instant pot, and they're nice and tender. I mashed them up a little. I'm going to make the tempering for this dal, so I'm going to add some cumin seeds, some ginger garlic, and I will add oh god, that red chilies are really kicking up a storm here. And I'm going to add 4 tomatoes that I've pureed. That's going to simmer. This thing needs my attention right now. So to this I'm going to add a whole bunch of onions. We have to saute these onions till they're translucent. We don't have to necessarily make them dark brown or anything. Oh man, these chilies are strong, especially if you're not used to heat. Trust me, when I eat spicy food, it just makes my eyes water, it makes me sweat, it just makes my head spin. I just cannot handle these. These fumes are really something. Okay, so we're going to continue to saute these onions till they're translucent. I'm going to turn up the heat a little bit. So once the sauce is actually ready, all of the cauliflower is going to go into the sauce. We're also going to add some green peppers that are finely chopped. This is the thing that will give it the flavor. And it will also help to soften up the onions a little bit. So I'm going to keep jumping back and forth between the dal tempering and the Chinese dish that I'm making. So just bear with me. This is going to keep sauteing and it's going to keep doing its thing. Also, in the end, we are going to add a mixture of cornstarch and water to thicken up our sauce, but we're not quite there yet. So let's keep sauteing this. I'm going to go and check on the lentil tadka and see how it's doing. I've made twice the quantity of what I need because half of the take out and I'm going to use it for making aloo matar. So I'm going to use that as the base for my peas and potato curry. Whenever you have tomatoes on the stove, the best thing to do is to add all the salt for the dish into the tomatoes. It really helps to bring out the moisture. I'm going to add some coriander powder. This is homemade. Black pepper powder, turmeric, and some paprika for some nice color. And I'm going to let it simmer. The way we will know this is done is that it's going to, all the oil is going to come and skim on top. And so we'll remove half of this so that we can get our base for our peas and potatoes. And we can also use this part as the tadka for the dal, okay? I'm going to jump back into the chili gobi and see how it's coming along. You see all this nice color that's gathering on the bottom of the pan? This is gold. This is absolutely priceless. And we have to keep as much of that as we can. What I sometimes like to do is take a little bit of the soy water and just deglaze the pan a little bit. Usually I would make it in my wok, but today I'm making it in this pan. When you make it in the wok, all this caramelization actually really helps to enhance the taste of your food. There you go. So I'm going to keep sauteing this till it's nice and soft. And it's going to get cooked in this moisture. I have reserved some of the bell peppers which I will use later on as a garnish. Now since I need to make 2 containers of this, I'm going to measure into this container how many pieces of cauliflower can fit in so that I'm not overcooking them. If you fried them at this stage, you can actually take them and stick them in your freezer. They freeze really well. So you can save the sauce separately and you can freeze the cauliflower separately. It does really well in the fridge, and then you can, let's say if you have guests coming the next day or something, you can make this a day ahead of time, 2 days ahead of time. The fact that you add rice flour to it keeps them really crisp. So I'm thinking if I have to probably break this up a little bit. I think that's pretty good. And then of course all the rest of the space will be filled up by the sauce. So I have to have 2 containers like that. This is still sauteing really well and it's doing its thing, hanging out. I'm adding a little bit of oil only because I think that this pan is taking on too much caramelization. See how it gradually turns brown? It turns brown not only from the soy water that I'm adding, but also from all the caramelization that is getting picked up. Also, if you do a no oil If you're on a no oil diet, then you can still make this. Just keep sauteing it in a dry pan with vegetable broth or water, and the tomato and the onions will still get brown. So the step that you'll skip is that you won't fry the cauliflower. You'll just add it directly to the simmering sauce. So this is what the cauliflower looks like right now. It's nice and crisp. Let me show you what it looks like. Maybe I should bite into it. Okay, so you know what? This is how crisp it is. Look. And that's how crisp the outside of it is. And the inside is completely buttery soft. Like you can see, it's so soft it can actually melt. So try to aim for a mixed texture. When you have a mixed texture, then in every bite you get an explosion of flavors. And that's what you want the experience to be for the person who is eating your food. Okay, so this is doing really well. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add this mixture of soy sauce, ketchup, sriracha, a little bit of sugar, and some sesame seeds. I'm going to add this to the pan and allow it to simmer. But that's the base of our curry, of our chili gobi, right? So the gobi is already pretty salted, so you don't want the sauce to be overly salted. You want to balance it out. I will turn up the heat to full so that it'll start simmering, and then I'll add the gobi to it. I'm going to jump back into and see how it's going. It smells really good. It's a very, very simple tempering of ginger, garlic, cumin seeds, and tomato. It's nothing elaborate. Sorry for the fog. I know you can't see from the steam rising up. And you can still see that the oil is not separated. It's still bubbling away. So I'm going to keep stirring it till all the oil separates. And then I will add some special condiments that will make the dal taste different from the peas and potato. And that's what you do. You can make your base curry in a big batch, and then you can add little aromatics to make it different from each other. And that's how you enhance the taste of your dish. So this is dry fenugreek leaves. And whenever you have them, you just crush them a little bit and add them to your pot. It gives a very earthy, kind of a very warm, cozy flavor to your curries. It's a very North Indian thing for the most part. Okay, so this is going to keep simmering. I will test the seasonings. We're going to jump back to our chili gobi and see how it's doing. I'm going to add the gobi from the container that I had kept. Let me check the seasoning. It's a little bit on the sweet side. Geez, it's spicy. So I'm going to add a little salt. A lot of people also like to add garam masala to their Indian Chinese dishes. I normally don't do that a lot because I feel like it gets too spicy. Okay, so that's that. This is my gobi going in. And then I need one more container of it. So as the cauliflower simmers, it's going to acquire the taste of the sauce. It's going to soak in all the flavors from the sauce, and that's exactly what you want. You might have to break some of them to put them into the thing, but that's okay. So that's my second container. I'm making 2 containers of this. I think my pan is a little too small for it. It's okay. It is what it is, right? All right. So I'm going to keep simmering it. Try not to mess with it too much. The more it simmers, the more liquid it's going to soak up. And that's exactly what you want. Yeah. It starts to soak up. It's easy to break. You can do all of that stuff. But you don't want to overcook it because you don't want all the batter to leave the coating of the cauliflower. You don't want that to happen. I'm going to give this cornstarch water a good stir. It's just water and cornstarch, nothing else going on in there. And wherever you see the liquid simmering, that's where you add it. So it'll become nice and thick as it comes together. You see, it starts to thicken up. So wherever the liquid is simmering and boiling, that's where you add your cornstarch. So you can see it's thick over here, but not so thick here. So I guess we have to just spread it around a little bit. And at this point, you can test to see if you want it a little sweeter, if you want it to be a little more sour, you want it, you can add a little dash of vinegar for tartness. But because I use ketchup, I really don't think I need any more sour stuff. Ketchup does have a hint of vinegar. These are the chilies that we have cut up, the peppers, the hot peppers. And now you can see the sauce is pretty thick. You can see how shiny and glossy it is. I think it either needs to simmer a little bit more. It needs to simmer just a little bit more. And then we are ready to serve it. Serving it with, just topping it with some sesame seeds right here and some cilantro, and that's it. So this is done. I've turned it off. That's your chili gobi right there. Let's take a look at our dal is looking. You see how the liquid is kind of evaporating and all the tomato and the oil is coming to the top. Again, if you live an oil-free lifestyle, then you can always saute these tomatoes in just water and it'll still work. You can saute it in a non-stick pan. Okay, so we're going to keep working on this. Once these lentils are ready, I'm going to add them. I'm going to add the tempering to my lentils. I'm going to mash these lentils just a little bit. I've opened my window too, but I don't know, for some reason there's just too much steam. I hope you guys can see. If you like what you see, give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions about what I'm making, feel free to leave a comment or a question so we can all have a good time. If you have anything that you want to share, any experiences about Indian food, any questions. This is the spice box that I use. You can find it on my website. You can buy it as it is. Instead of the salt, I will give you a spice blend which is custom made. The website is www.queenscurrykitchen.com and all the products are listed there. Everything else I make, all the tutorials are free. If you have any questions with what you saw, if you're trying to do something new, if you tried something that you saw on this video, feel free to respond. I would love to. Always remember that I get my inspiration from all of you, and when you tell me things that you want to see, then I'd really enjoy making what you request. So yeah, so that's that. So our chili gobi is actually ready. That's what it looks like, and I think it looks pretty fabulous. So if you have guests coming over and you want to make something fabulous for them, so as easy as making your masala in a double batch and then splitting it in half to make 2 dishes like I'm doing right over here. I'm also going to split the tomato and garlic paste that I made just now. Half of it is going to go into my dal tempering and the other half I will reserve for my peas and potato curry, okay? So now it's coming up really well. Look at that. You see how the oil is separating nicely? See how glossy it is? You can almost see the oil coating the back of my spoon. So at this point, what I'm going to do is I will scoop up some of this and put it in here. Scoop up a little bit in here. That's enough. And then the rest of this, I'm going to use this to make my peas with potatoes. So I'm going to put some frozen peas in here. I'm going to put some potatoes, some cilantro, and some water. And then I'm going to just pressure cook this. So that's our two dishes that I wanted to share with you that I'm making in my kitchen today. Sometime later on today, I will also be making rotis, and I will be making all the other things that you saw before we started. If you liked what you saw, leave a comment. Feel free to come back to this Facebook page. There's always something or the other that I'm doing via Facebook Live. Thank you all for your love and support. It really means a lot to me. Have a great, great, blessed weekend, all of you. And thank you for joining me at the Queen's Curry Kitchen. Goodbye from New York. Bye now.